Symfony doesn't care about your database or the code you use to talk to it. Seriously, it's not trying to be rude, but other libraries already solve this problem. So if you want to make a PDO connection and run raw SQL queries, that's great. When we create services in Episode 3, you'll learn some life-saving strategies to organize something like this. But most people that use Symfony use a third-party library called Doctrine. It has its own website and documentation, though Symfony's Doctrine documentation is a little bit friendlier. In a nutshell, Doctrine maps rows and columns in your database to objects and properties in PHP. Imagine we have an event object with name and location properties. If we tell Doctrine to save this object, it inserts a row into a table and puts the data on name and location columns. And when we query for the event, it puts the column data back onto the properties of an event object. The big confusing mind switch is to stop thinking about tables and start thinking about PHP classes. In fact, let's create the event class we were talking about. The console can even make this for us with the Doctrine generate entity command. Like other commands, this one is self-aware and will start asking you questions. In step 1, enter event bundle event. This is another top secret shortcut name, and it means you want the event class to live inside the event bundle. Now choose annotation as the configuration format and move on to field creation. And now add the following fields: name as a string field, time as a date time field, location as a string field, and details as a text field. These types here are configuration that tell Doctrine how each property should be stored in the database. If you messed anything up, panic! Or just exit with Ctrl-C and try the command again. Nothing happens until it finishes. Say yes for the repository class and confirm generation. A repository is a cool guy we'll use later to store custom queries. All right, so what did that do? Actually, it just created 2 new classes in an entity directory in our bundle, and that's it. Check out the new event class. For Doctrine, the word entity means a normal PHP class that we will save to the database. So whenever I say entity, just scream, "That's just a normal PHP class," and your coworkers will love you. If you ignore the PHP comments, you'll see that this is a plain old PHP class. It doesn't do anything. It just stores data on its private properties. Getter and setter methods like getName and setName were generated so that we can play with an event's data. It's underwhelming, almost disappointing, and that's what makes Doctrine so interesting. Now, check out the PHP comments above the class. These comments are called annotations, and they're actually read and parsed by Doctrine. So when you hear annotations, shout, "PHP comments that are read like configuration." These tell Doctrine how it should save an event object to the database. Right now, they will save to an event table, and each property will be a column in that table. I usually like to prefix all of my table names, so let's do that by adding a name option to the table annotation. We're ready to insert data, but first I want to show you a debugging trick. Copy the web app_dev.php file to the root of the project and rename it to play.php. Open it up and remove the IP protection stuff at the top, and update the require paths since we move things around. This script boots Symfony, processes the request, and spits out the page. But I have evil plans to transform it into a debugging monster where we can write random code and execute it from the command line to see what happens. Replace the last 3 lines with kernel boot. Remember the service container from earlier? We have access to it here. To make it as flexible as possible, I'll add a few lines that help fake a real request. This is a little Jedi mind trick, so don't worry about what these do right now. Our evil creation is alive! So let's play around. How could we render a template here? Why, just grabbing the templating service and using its render method. Execute the play script from the command line. When I run it, the template is rendered and printed out. How cool is that? This is perfect for whenever we need to quickly test out some code.